Hello everybody. It's a new week, it's a new start, it's a new video from Bull Street. 3 videos from Bull Street coming today, Flav.
Wow.
Yeah, see? He's excited. Yeah. I hope you are as well.
I'm just a bit confused about you. Why are you always leading the presenting?
Because it's just easier that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're the gold that they hang around for, and I'll get the job done.
They're actually come here for a specific reason, isn't it? Not us to drivel on. What we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, the point is, we're going to be talking about loads of stuff. We're going to talk about what's trending, all the stories that everyone's talking about on the social hyperweb. That's what they're calling it this week. We're going to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo's tax fraud case. We're going to talk about Darren Gibson. Not many videos where you have Cristiano Ronaldo and Darren Gibson in the same video, but we've got it because he's gone on. He's had a moment. Safe standing. It's a big day for safe standing and the possible introduction of it into English football. And Nemanja Matic going to Man United, and if that is actually going to happen, it looks like it's pretty close. So we're going to talk about all those things. As I say, just say quickly. You've forgotten one. Have I?
Yeah, Arsene Wenger as well.
Oh, Arsene Wenger.
He reckons that it's fine that 6 of their first team players are going into the final season. With 1 year left on their contract. 2 of those are Ozil and Sanchez.
Yeah. So we'll talk about
that's fine.
Don't worry. Well, so we're going to go dive into all of these different topics. If you've got any questions you want to ask us, Will is on the comments. So let us know if there's other things that we aren't talking about that we should be. Get your questions in. Get your comments in on the different topics that we're going to talk about as well. And as I said, just quickly, we have the semi-final. It's Judgment Day for Bull Street FC. Semi-final against Freestylers FC. That drops at 4 PM today, that game against, Dan Cutting's Freestylers. And then we'll do a live reaction show an hour later right here. And hopefully the thing won't drop like it did last time. But straight into it, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So he's due in court in Madrid today to answer charges of 14.7 million euros of tax fraud. Spain's Hacienda tax authorities believe that Ronaldo used a network of companies in various countries, including Ireland and the British Virgin Islands, to hide at least 78 million. Now, there's different sources. Some are saying it's 50 million, others saying about 78 million euros in image rights income between 2011 and 2014.
It's kind of firstly, it's a difficult thing with the amount of money that's going in football for a fan. From our perspective, to look at it and understand the actual how big a deal that is, because to us that's like his contract, his value's worth. He must be 200 million in the transfer market.
He's seen as the most well-paid sportsman in the world.
Yeah. So if you look at what Messi got what was it, like a suspended sentence.
Say it again, sorry.
Messi got a suspended sentence.
So this is Messi's been he was given a 21-month sentence that was put to the side because he paid 250 grand as well as the 4 million in tax that he owed.
Yeah.
Neymar, I think it was 10 million. That was to do with his contract, not with the image rights.
Right.
Mascherano's had it as well. I think there's rumours about, I'm not sure about Di Maria being involved as well. And it all comes back to the Beckham law. So the Beckham law was something that was done in 2003 where Spain basically said, come here and we'll have a ceiling for 6 years on your income of 24%, which is about, so normally with taxes it's about, for the highest earners it's at least 50%, if not more. It's around 50%. So 24% when you're earning silly money is a great deal. But after the economic crash in 2008, Spain have obviously struggled since then. In 2010, that Beckham law went away. And so people started to need to pay their taxes. And so what's happened with a lot of these different guys is within the image rights, they'll get that money to be put through different companies, like in Ireland, like in Virgin Islands.
Where the tax breaks are more significant than they are in...
Are more helpful. And so that money that you're getting is not actually coming through Spain. And so Ronaldo, what's interesting is Ronaldo's in a position where, unlike Messi was found out in kind of 2009, I think, and he's been paying off a lot of those taxes in the lead up to the 2016 case where he was found guilty and then so had to pay even more money. Yeah. But that kind of made it a bit easier. But with Ronaldo, this is like massive, huge amounts of money, and what it could mean. Well, this is the other interesting thing, and I know I'm going into a lot of detail, but there's 2 ways of looking at it. If he comes and goes, look, I'm sorry, I thought this was okay, I thought I could go around it with the image rights and I've made a mistake, then it will be seen as general tax avoidance.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, it's called aggravated. And if he gets found guilty of aggravated tax fraud, tax avoidance, then money won't make it go away. He might have to go to jail.
Right.
Ronaldo.
Yeah. All right, look, before...
Shouldn't laugh.
How do you think he'd get on in jail?
How would he get on in jail? I mean...
Good looking.
He's a good looking boy.
Pretty.
Strong though.
Strong, so...
Physically strong.
Yeah, so they wouldn't...
I haven't been to prison.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, but there are preconceived ideas that prison for certain people can be a difficult place.
I think a prison for a player of his calibre and notoriety and all his money would probably be a lot easier than it would be if a lesser human being, for want of a better expression, was put into the prison system. One of my things is this: everyone's saying, "Oh, Ronaldo has done this," or "Ronaldo is accused to be of doing X, Y, and Z." He doesn't have a clue. He just goes and plays his football. Someone else is responsible, surely. Why should he?
That's true. It's very difficult for these top players. Now, Will, get a couple of comments ready. Give us your opinions on Ronaldo, on this whole tax fraud thing, because he isn't the first, but he's the biggest.
What I'm saying is, why would he go? He doesn't have the intelligence and understanding of tax law, because who does? It's very complicated.
Yeah, he pays.
Why should he have to pay? Why shouldn't it be? Or, he'd pay the money for his earnings, but why would he have to go face prison? Surely it should be the people advising him.
I think it's probably a fair point. I guess it has to, ultimately the responsibility has to, no, I think you're right actually, the more you say.
He's not going to,
it's not him.
You have to knowingly want to fool people.
Yeah.
Harry Redknapp got off it, didn't he? I don't know what I'm doing, do I?
Yeah, just play dumb.
How do I know?
Yeah. Will, what do the comments say?
A lot of people are saying he should have left Spain and come to the Premier League, and maybe he could have avoided it altogether.
Man United fans, are they?
Yeah.
Good.
So he should have just come to the Premier League. Well, yeah. Well, he was in the Premier League, wasn't he? And he went over there probably for this. Although it was after that, wasn't it? It was after 2010.
But is that what football fans want? Players moving around because it's easy, cost less, or do you want players coming to your club because they want to come there because they believe in what the club's trying to do, or have we all, as fans, become so cynical with the amount of money in the game that we understand that, if it helps us in terms of a tax sense, then let's benefit from it.
Yeah, I think ultimately it will, like all of these, like the other guys, it goes away. These problems go away sooner or later.
Yeah.
Shaggy Alonso, tax laws don't care whether Ronaldo knows about his financial dealings or not. It's the same in the UK. The state assumes you have basic accountancy knowledge.
Wow, well there you go. It shouldn't assume that because it's really confusing.
Yeah.
So
Europe is, what's it saying? Is dying. Oh. No, that's not a comment, that's his name.
All right. Well, it's just a statement. Europe is dying.
They should challenge Spanish authorities to throw him in jail. From jail, his street cred will make Tupac look like a boy. I'm not really sure what that means either.
All right.
So let's move on.
Yeah.
Ronaldo will sign on a loan to QPR. That would be lovely.
Will it? You take him?
Yeah, definitely.
Alleged tax avoider?
Happily.
Yeah.
From Ronaldo to another Man United legend, Darren Gibson, who's in the press today, all over Twitter, because of a video that's circulating about him verbally attacking.
We call them fucking shit.
Yeah, I mean, but that seems a bit exaggerated, I guess. His Sunderland teammates. So he was at Everton, moved to Sunderland in January, wasn't able to keep them up. I don't think anyone was expecting Gibson to keep them up. But they lost to Celtic 5-0 on the weekend, and he was then found in a pub, very, very drunk.
Yeah. And
someone's filmed him saying the following. We're shit, of course I'm bothered. I don't want to be shit. There are too many people at the club that don't give a fuck. You tell me who doesn't want to be at the club. So he says, you tell me who doesn't want to be at the club. Fans went on to mention Lamina Kone, Wahhabi Khazri, and Jermaine Lenz. And Gibson went on to say all three were amongst Sunderland players who just don't give a fuck.
I mean...
So the question here is, Gibson, when it's pre-season and you've got a week till the season starts, firstly, should he be going out and getting on the piss like that? Is he allowed to have that life and do that? Secondly, should he have said what he said in a public place? Third, should fans be giving these guys a break when they're out and not filming them? Or is that just the game of football that we live in now?
Right. Well, the first one was should
he be on the piss?
Should he be on the piss? I mean, it's not a problem that he is on the piss at this time. But given what Sunderland are doing currently, it probably wasn't advisable. but it's fine for him to get hammered if he wants a week before the season, because as we know, hangovers generally last about a day or two.
That's true.
And then crack on. So I've got no issue with that. What was the second question?
And should he be saying those kind of comments?
You never hear anything of substance or interest from a club or the players. So it's boring that we have to get this kind of straight-batted answers all the time. So it's refreshing to hear him talk about it. And actually, you think that actually some of the problems in your club you're probably closer to the truth than you actually think you are. So players not giving a shit. In my head, I think that's like a cliche that's thrown around and bandied about. But maybe it is that. Maybe the players just do not care. They're here for the pay packet and then they move on. But then ultimately, who's responsible for that? Because these players don't have any affinity to Sunderland. They don't have to give a shit about Sunderland, really. It's fans who give a shit about Sunderland. So who's responsible for bringing these players with a weak mentality in? And those are the people that need to be held accountable. Players will always be players. They'll want to earn as much as they can. As human beings, we're all in that situation as well. Who's responsible for bringing these players in? And they're the ones that need to be held accountable, in my opinion.
What you always find with teams down the bottom, and you've definitely found this with QPR, was that there was this whole story of like, you've got these guys like Clint Hill, Sean Derry, Jamie Mackey, like guys who were there and got us up and then wanted to be given that chance, and they had to struggle with the players that they believed weren't working hard enough. And there was that story out there for a long time that they didn't care and the people didn't care.
Yeah.
And actually someone like Clint Hill came out and said they didn't care. And so it obviously does exist. It's not just something that is fabricated by the press. The problem you've got is when there is that gulf between the Premier League and the Championship, you are going to get these players, often from abroad, who don't have that same feeling for the club that more local guys will have, and therefore there's a mix in terms of the passion and I guess the guts to go again when you get relegated, when you do go down. And what Darren Gibson, although he's smashed, he says, look, I'm fucked off my face, but I want to play for Sunderland. And it is on a Saturday after a game. So it is, you do have that whole week after. So I'm not too bothered about him being drunk. I think it shows how difficult it is to be a player now and to go out and have a few. Or to drown your sorrows after a game, which is something that a lot of people just generally do if it's not gone your way. I know fans do it.
Yeah.
So I think he's been hard done by it.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think the fans have got a responsibility of putting this geezer who's clearly out of his skull. He's hammered, and then sticking a camera in your face and then putting it out. It's a bit exploitative in that respect. I can understand it. However, they're disgruntled. Sunderland fans must be furious about what's happening.
Yeah.
And so this frustration usually comes with its behaviour that they wouldn't normally find acceptable. If Sunderland were top of the league, they probably wouldn't have put that video out of Gibson being hammered. But then in their head, they're seeing these players not give a shit. They're seeing Gibson out of his mind.
That's it, yeah.
And they're thinking, well, we've had enough and we've got to put this and expose what's going on at our football club. So I don't know what the sentiment or angle of the person filming it had come from. Hopefully it wasn't just to get retweets and favourites on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
But
anything, Will, in the comments?
Yeah, there's a few bits. Blue City United said that Daz Givo just said what everyone was thinking. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
And Fergus O'Connor said the lads who filmed Gibson are dickheads.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think so. If you didn't hear that, Will saying Gibson was just saying what the fans and what other people were thinking. I think there's some. It's probably not helpful, but there's some merit in the fact that he's upset. That he seems genuinely annoyed at the situation that Sunderland are in, just like the fans are as well. And so there is something slightly to be commended in that. The fans who have filmed him and then sold it off or put it wherever they put it, if they're they might
probably
be
didn't sell it off.
Or do you not?
We don't. No, maybe not. I mean, it wasn't on the Sun that I saw it. Or, do you know what I mean? It was uploaded to Twitter. But the fact is, to me, as a person, if I saw anyone hammered, obviously making a bit of a show, I don't know if my first instinct would be, let me upload this to Twitter. But each to his own, I guess.
And what next for Darren Gibson? Let us know in the comments. For me, it is awkward. That's going to be an awkward training session coming back in, isn't it? That's nasty. Right, next one. Wenger comments on players having 1 year left on their contract. So Ozil, Sanchez, Oxlade-Chamberlain all have it under a year left on their contracts, and that's just the most high-profile players. You've got Wilshere coming back from Bournemouth, Kieran Gibbs, who's been a squad player for a decent amount of time, and Santi Cazorla, who was a really important player for them last year, and I think they struggled once he wasn't in the team. All 6 of those are in the last year of their contract, and all 6 of those can sign a pre-contract agreement
in January.
Come January 1st.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's look, and this is something that's consistently happened to Arsenal over and over again. You know, we've seen it before, where they've been forced to sell in the last, you know, the summer before they're about to leave, or they let the contract run out. Him saying, what the strangest thing about this is how does this help Arsenal Football Club going into the last season, knowing that they don't have Ozil and they don't have Sanchez signed up in contracts? They can essentially lose both of these players for nothing. However, as a supporter and as a manager, it's better to have those players than the money in the bank. It's better to have them for another year, because they've got Lacazette now up front, obviously an upgrade, or you'd think an upgrade on Giroud, we'll see. And then you've got 2 of the best forwards in the league to supply him. You can't see him doing anything other than scoring a bag full of goals. The fact is, though, it's not future-proofing.
So, and what's interesting is what Wenger's come out and said. And so let us know what you think about this and about Wenger's comments. Is this a desperate way of spinning a situation that is an absolute mess, or is he showing some foresight in the way that transfer deals and the whole world of transfers are going to kind of turn into in the next 5 years?
Well,
what does he say?
Wenger, he's crafted his legacy based on being shrewd in the transfer market, but not overpaying for players, getting the right players in at the right time, you know, not being too foolhardy really, and by and large he's done a brilliant job. So to now say it's actually better for these players who are going their last and then we're going to lose them for nothing. You're talking Ozil and Sanchez in the current market. You're talking £180 million for the pair of them. It's insane to say. It's a massive gamble. It's a massive gamble. But they're in the situation now, and as Arsenal fans, I'm sure will protest. We don't care about the money. We're a rich club. We don't need £180 million. What does that do for us? It doesn't do anything. What they want to see is Ozil and Sanchez playing, and if it means that this is their last year together at Arsenal, then so be it, and they can rebuild again. But as a way to run a football club, madness.
Yeah. I guess what he's trying to get across is the fact that because if you want to sell Ozil for what he's worth, or Sanchez for what they believe he's worth, once you get into that final year, because the players will go, come on then, am I going to get this silly amount of wages? Once it then creeps into that final year, then you basically at a point where, look, we're not going to get the silly amount that we want. Half the amount is probably what we spend on playing a player who's not as good. So we might as well just take 1 more year from him. The other thing that Wenger's saying is that he, when these players are in the final year of their contract, they will try. They will continue to try, because it's not. You don't just stop playing football because it's the last year of contract. And actually, he feels that if they want to be picked up by one of the biggest clubs in the world, then they're going to have to perform. And so that's why it's like a win-win situation. I'm not sure about that.
Well, I don't think they will not perform. I think both of them will play as well as they can and try as hard as they can. Of course they will. This isn't about them being petulant. It's about them getting as much money as possible.
Not petulant, but if you know you're out the door in March, and it's March, and the same thing happens again. We haven't even got Champions League football this year, but you go out the Europa League and you're 5th in the league, you might as well go. You're not going to have the same grit.
That's a good shout.
To get yourself.
That's a great shout, actually.
To get you into the top 4. Whatever.
If they find themselves in that situation as they did when Sanchez started throwing fits and they got beat by Bournemouth, I think it was away. I might be wrong here. And Sanchez was starting to kind of throw his fits and be West Brom and looking at the players and thinking, are they working as hard as I am? To saying, well, 3 months, I don't give a shit whether they're working as hard. I'm going to be at PSG or I'm going to be in Barcelona or whoever else that might want him.
We've got loads of comments from you guys. Will, is there any that stand out?
Yeah, Shaggy Alonso said it's crazy to have that many players with a year left on their contracts. Players need to be focused on their performances, not potentially thinking about where they'll play, and he thinks it's a massive distraction.
That's a good shout.
I think it is a massive. Do you know what, that's a good point. Is it making it's 6 players? I know Gibbs. I think what's the Gibbs?
His legs are in pieces, isn't they? So,
but he's still a quality player when he does play.
He won't play again. He's played eight months. And he's ages away. So let's strike him off. But
okay.
Gibbs is a weird one because
And they need to figure out Wilshere as well.
And Oxlade-Chamberlain as well. It's not like he isn't. He could get into most Premier League teams.
Yeah.
So it is a strange one.
What else have we got? I saw someone saying Abdullah Said Lacazette isn't an upgrade on Giroud. I think they said that a little bit earlier on. Sanchez is way harder to replace than Ozil. Fluffy foreskin. If I was an Arsenal fan, I would have focused all of my protests on the board, not Wenger. They are probably loving Wenger because he's taking most of the heat. Interesting.
True. There was some guy running on the pitch, didn't he? Tried to get Wenger during the friendly with Sevilla at the weekend. Did anyone else see that?
I didn't see that, mate.
Yeah, he tried to get on the pitch.
Yeah,
I hate him already. This is the problem, is that no matter what goes on, there's so much negative energy around Arsenal. Not necessarily from the media, but inside the club. I think fans haven't really forgiven him for signing that 2-year deal.
Yusuf Mufti, Bull Street presenters are tax avoiders. Not true. Not true.
Well,
I pay my taxes.
I try.
Right, let's move on to the next topic, which is safe standing. It's a big day for safe standing, especially in English football. The Spirit of Shankly group have had a vote. Of course, when we talk about safe standing, it's been something that's probably, well, it has been delayed a lot more. It's something that a lot of people will now be coming out and feeling okay with saying, like, this is something that we want and something we want to move forward with. Yep. With the Hillsborough inquiry, there was a feeling that they wanted to kind of wait until that had been and gone and resolved before they moved forward with the next stage of it. As I'm sure everyone knows, that at Celtic it's been a big success. In Germany, it's been a big success. And today is a big day because the Spirit Shankly group they have voted and they're going to reveal what their vote has been on safe standing, because I think the Premier League have asked Liverpool to canvass the feeling of Liverpool fans. And Shrewsbury Town, I can't speak, Shrewsbury Town, they're going to be launching their safe standing, and they're going to be the first team to do it in English football. The rules are slightly different in the lower leagues, and because I think that Furco, which is the brand that makes a lot of the safe standing, did so for Celtic, because they're a nearby company. That's what kind of started off the idea that Shrewsbury Town could be the first guys to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still essentially against legislation that the first two divisions in football you take a parliamentary shift. So currently, regardless of what happens in the rest of football, the Premier League and Division 1 can't have standing terracing. So what this whole movement is towards is convincing Parliament to say, actually, it's fine for top two tiers of English football to have safe standing. It is an important thing because of, it's important that Liverpool fans and that they're aware of this and they're involved in the conversation. But I think regardless of what happens for the Spirit of Shankly, this is something that is going to happen at Tottenham. Is going to happen at football, in Shrewsbury, but eventually in football as well. And it would be great. It would be amazing if Liverpool were part of that as well. Because what I think it's important to think about the fact that this is actually making stadiums safe now. It's not safe currently with chairs at your shin. This is my opinion. But chairs at your shin in front of you. Everyone knows when you celebrate wildly at a goal inside a football stadium, your knees, your legs are bashed to pieces. You can get pushed forward over other people. It's happened to us all. It's great fun, but isn't probably the safest thing.
Yeah.
But with these safe standing barriers designed to have a guard in front of you, so you can't cascade forward, and you have a guard behind you, so that the only way that these crowds can surge are backwards and forwards. There's a finite amount of space. It controls the way the crowd move. So, look, not all football fans want it. It'd be wrong to say that, but there are a sizable majority, based on surveys that I've been involved with, that suggest that this is something that, as the majority of football fans, they want. And
it seems like West Brom were quite willing to sort of pilot the scheme to do it in the Premier League. Mm-hmm. I think Spurs with their new stadium, that there was a picture posted, was there? Yeah, there's plans in the new stadium that it, should legislation change, that we're ready to implement it almost immediately. The aspect of Liverpool, a few comments here is quite interesting actually. Anon says, why do Liverpool get a huge say? Being the victim of tragedy shouldn't permit them to make decisions for other clubs. They don't get. It's not about Liverpool getting a huge say. They're not getting a huge say. They're a part of the conversation. The move towards safe standing it won't be stopped by anything other than
a change in opinion. Liverpool fans have a say, and obviously because of what happened at Hillsborough, it's important that their voice is listened to. But they're a part of the conversation. Let's not make it a thing about.
I think they're a strong voice, and that's understandable for what's happened before. Carlos David, it is not for us Liverpool fans to decide for the rest of football. We don't want special treatment. And
I don't think Liverpool fans are coming out saying it's for them to decide. They're not. They're having a conversation between themselves because they understand how difficult a situation this is. There are a lot of people, it's a difficult situation for Liverpool fans, both sides of the fence, and they're having a kind of democratic, healthy conversation about it, and we'll see the results today. And whatever they decide, that's the correct way to be for them.
And I think there is that general feeling that the reviews of Celtic in particular, apparently 3,000 in a 60,000 stadium, but apparently that I haven't been fortunate enough to be in that stand, but apparently the noise is just electric, and I think that is one thing that I am concerned with English football, is that the atmosphere is getting worse. It is getting worse, I believe.
And so it's been on decline forever.
Yeah, so we need to create a way of allowing that a little bit more freedom, a little bit more of being able to feel the moments, so that you can. The
ultimately, what will get this over the line is money, and why Premier League football clubs, who are they're selling their grounds out. Why wouldn't they want more people inside that stadium in a safe way? And if the change in legislation happens, then safe standing will be implemented widely across the board. It improves atmosphere, increases the product, the understanding of the product. It makes it more interesting to sell the products on a global level, the syndication of the game. If you've got balmy stands with tifos and whatnot, it all feeds into it. Ultimately, it's about money, and for the fans, for the clubs, and they will accept it on that basis. But for supporters, it's a great thing because it enables us to be a little bit more less restricted, because you have free movement.
One last question on this, because I think it's a good comment. It's interesting. Adam Lee, what's worrying me is that the people involved say if it's done properly and well managed, it'll be successful. No one has said anything about what happens when it isn't. I think if there was no precedent in place, if we haven't seen it work so well at Celtic, we haven't seen it in Germany for the last decade, there's a precedent there. It works. It is safe. I don't know what else to say. I mean, if it's just about pulling it out of the bag, out of the hat, and saying let's just give this a go and hopefully no one gets hurt, then I'd be 100% understand that. But there was thousands of football matches with safe standing being used safely and to the betterment of the game and the people's experiences. Last one on what's trending for today. Matic to Man United. It's the transfer story that everyone's talking about at the moment. Spotted in Man United training gear on social media. So it looks like it's very, very close. Why would he be putting a shirt on if he's not signing for the club? It's one that people have been talking about for a long time. I think a lot of people were wondering if it would actually happen, because there's been other transfers that haven't come to be. But he's set to play under Mourinho for the second time. Or third time? I think he went for 5 million, didn't he, 2011? Can't remember if that was Mourinho who sold him or not. But he's going back. And what does this mean for Fellaini? So Man United fans, you might get a bit annoyed with him, and he gets a lot of stick. Yeah, he does get a lot of stick. If he leaves the Premier League, I'll miss him. Will you? Yeah. He's funny. I will feel nothing. We've got an Everton fan here on Work Experience, and he says Fellaini doesn't get the respect he deserves. That's because he did well at Everton. He was always. I rated him massively when he was at Everton. He was just a pain. He's always causing problems. And Man United, they do expect a certain calibre of player rather than a functional one. Moyes, when he brought him in, he understood what he was bringing in Fellaini, and it's. He did great for him there. He did brilliantly. So it looks like Galatasaray might be the move for him. But on Matic had first season he was incredible when he came back to Chelsea. Had an awful second season. Good third season with Kante alongside him. He will bring that sort of that physical. Well, they've got a lot of physical presence in the midfield now. If you have him and Herrera was one of the most underrated players for them last season. Pogba in there as well. 40 million though. Does that sound fair for a 29-year-old? Lots of money. Is it? It's just what it is now, isn't it? Yeah. So what?
40 million, 29-year-old who Mourinho trusts and understands, and he knows exactly how to put him into the system. Man United have been crying out for a defensive midfielder for a while. It seems like a sensible way to spend 40 million.
And on Bakayoko is not an upgrade on Matic. Of course, Bakayoko went in there, and that's made it look like Matic was going to be on his way, and he obviously is now.
I think that there's something interesting in that, actually, because you expect signings to be an upgrade. You expect them to be better. You expect them than what you've got already. And then sometimes that isn't the case. And I think that's the problem we've got at Spurs at the moment. My club. It's difficult to find upgrades on that first 11.
Yeah.
And Bakayoko might well be an upgrade on Matic, but he may not. And it is a gamble.
I can't see where the comment is, but someone was saying, I'd love Fellaini. That's it. Shane, I hope Fellaini goes to West Brom. He would smash it at West Brom.
He would do
well.
He
would absolutely smash it at West Brom.
Yeah.
Marching on together, Fellaini is as good as a dead dog. Not literally, I think he means.
Well,
his
might mean
career
that.
at Man United. Yeah. Geraint Jones, I would be sad if Fellaini left. Duran's lie. People really hate Fellaini. He was class for us at Everton.
Yeah.
There you go, mate. What does this mean for Man United now? Are they right up there as one of the favourites for the title now? Is that first 11 now where you've got Herrera, Matic, Pogba, Carrick if you need him to sit in, exciting youngsters, I think is Pereira as well, Mkhitaryan, right Martial, Rashford, Lukaku up front.
Yeah.
Have they got a massive, massive chance now?
They should have won it last year with the amount they spent. They've got about the same chance as they had. I mean, I'm not massive. I hope.
Tell the people what's going to happen this season.
Should I?
Yes.
Straight, all right. They'll finish third, and they'll bore their way to finishing third as Mourinho always has done. But good for them. They're going to be back in the Champions League. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Oh, they're in it. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
but they can't have to cheat. They got in it through cheating, didn't they?
Moose City United says no. City is way ahead of United. Interesting.
No one really knows. Based on what? Like last season, based on they're kind of marginally ahead. Based on some pre-season results, yeah, maybe. Let's just wait till it starts. It's all nonsense.
It's bitter about
what?
The defeat of the weekend.
Yeah, we got pumped.
We got absolutely pumped. Right, that's it for What's Trending. If you've enjoyed this, this is quite a new video for us. If you want us to do this more and have a conversation with us where we read out your comments and have a chat, then one, give this video a like, and two, subscribe to the channel, and that kind of gives us a clear indication that you want us to do it. And let us know in the comments below. Let us know what you think about safe standing, about Ronaldo and how we get on at prison, about Darren Gibson, and if he's shamed Sunderland, and what else did we talk about? And Wenger. Is Wenger right in what he's saying, that that's the way that we're moving forward with?
Fascinating, the Wenger one. I'd love to see what people say in the comments.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments. And don't miss another live later today at 5 PM where we're doing our reaction show to the semi-final of Bull Street versus Freestylers FC. The video with the highlights of the whole game will be on this channel at 4 PM, so hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss both of those, and we'll see you later on.